Lionel Messi has joined Inter Miami, having turned down a deal with Al Hilal worth $400 million a year to play in Saudi Arabia. But what financial terms tempted him to the MLS? Was it all about the money? And what could the football industry learn about the contract structure to help it become more sustainable? My name is Neil Wood and I'm a football finance professional. Football Finance Professionals, the channel that you are watching, is dedicated to teaching you about finance through the medium of football. We use our own industry experience to share with you to help with your financial education. So if you like the video, please hit like, share it with your friends, leave your comments below, and subscribe if you want to learn more about the topic of football finance. With Messi's contract with PSG coming to an end this summer, arguably the world's best player had to negotiate a new contract somewhere else in the world to continue his career. Will this be the final move for Lionel Messi? According to reports, he had several options to consider. Number one, joining Al Hilal for an unprecedented $400 million a year, which he would have received tax-free due to playing in Saudi Arabia, where taxes are not payable on your income. Al Hilal being the city rivals of Al Nassr, so Messi would have been competing with Cristiano Ronaldo in the Saudi Pro League, with Ronaldo having accepted a $200 million a year salary from Al Nassr, having left Manchester United following the World Cup. It was also rumoured that Messi could potentially return to his boyhood club Barcelona. That would be subject to Barcelona being able to afford to pay Leo's salary and any associated costs associated to the acquisition of his player registration. Now, it would be that Messi would move on a free transfer, but agent fees would be payable on top of his salary, which would go into the La Liga FFP calculation, which is a break-even budget model. And that was the reason why Messi originally had to leave Barcelona. And reportedly, having made his decision, Leo Messi did not want to have to go through all that again in what appeared to be a lack of trust with Barcelona. Messi himself has said he wanted an easier life, to spend more time with his family and be out of the limelight. So the final option that was on the table was to move to Inter Miami in the MLS. And what did that look like? Well, the details of that deal were relatively low-key until now. A deal that would see Lionel Messi, arguably the greatest player of all time, if not the world's current best player, join Inter Miami, which is part owned by David Beckham. And the structure of the deal has a lot of parallels with when David made his move to LA Galaxy to end his career. Messi has made it clear in his own communications that it is not about the money, or at least that is not the driving factor behind his move. If it were, it's likely that he would have been in Saudi Arabia by now. He already had a relationship with the Saudi Arabian authorities as an ambassador for football, but he seems to have turned that deal down, which would have been well in excess of $100 billion over a 3-year period, tax-free, an eye-watering amount. Messi also mentioned that he didn't want to see a repeat of what happened in the past. It was obviously heartbreaking for him to leave his boyhood club. And Barcelona's struggles have been well documented. We have reviewed some of their financial challenges on our channel. So if you're interested, click the link above to see how we have interpreted some of Barcelona's financial struggles. Messi wanted to be in control of his own future, and that's primarily the reason why he headed to the MLS. It's a destination for many stars at the twilight of their careers, but Messi at the age of 35, it's thought, still had a lot to give to European football, or a football at its highest level. His salary demands may have priced him out of the market across many clubs in European football. However, European football is still seen to be the highest level that players can compete at, but that also comes at a cost. Any high-profile players playing in Europe are definitely firmly in the limelight, and Messi is the highest profile player in European football. He now wants a quieter life, and he believes that Inter Miami was definitely the right choice for that. Having finally won the World Cup in Qatar last year, Messi may feel that all of his sporting dreams have been achieved. But what's on offer with Inter Miami goes way beyond that of his football playing career. There is an ability to spend more time with his family, but also there is an enticing business proposal on the table, and one that he has already accepted. Although Messi states that his move is not driven by money, he will definitely receive a lucrative package in the form of what he will receive potentially on a deferred basis beyond his playing career. Messi will take what's called a designated player spot on the roster of Inter Miami. The MLS has salary restrictions in place, and most players are paid centrally by the league. However, there is an exception to that rule, and some players, up to 3 in fact, can take on the role of a designated player and not be restricted by that salary cap. The exact terms of Messi's deal have not been fully disclosed, and they are unlikely to be. It's a private contract between an employer and an employee. However, we do know some of the detail. It's reported that Messi's salary will be $50 million per season, way below that's offered by Al Hilal. But it's not too dissimilar to his expiring contract with PSG. It is far in excess of the current highest paid player's salary at $8 million in the MLS. Inter Miami's current highest paid player is on $4.4 million according to reports, but the financial value to Messi is way beyond that of his salary. The deal between Inter Miami and Messi does not include a transfer fee, as Messi will move there on a free transfer. That will be because he's out of contract. But it has been reported that Messi will receive a stake in Inter Miami, a club that was valued at $600 million pre-Messi and is likely to be double that now Messi has arrived at Inter Miami. Those valuations are according to Forbes. MLS kits are manufactured by Adidas, a company that already has an existing relationship with Messi. And the existing Adidas relationship with the MLS goes back to the inception of the league. And it's been reported that Messi will receive a share of the Adidas profits relating to kits. Adidas know full well of the impact of Lionel Messi, knowing that there will be a dramatic increase in shirt sales, especially those with Messi's name on the back. Apple have also recently signed a deal with the MLS to provide the MLS Season Pass, a streaming service to 100 countries. A service that will feature no blackouts and every single MLS game will be streamed. The power that Messi brings to that in particular will be dramatic. People being able to watch Messi in every single game that he plays as part of an overall service, and that will be shared with the player. Messi will receive a share in Apple's profit from its streaming service, and that could potentially continue beyond his playing days. In addition to these profit share agreements and a share that's been reported in Inter Miami, it's also been reported that Messi will have the ability to take an option for a discounted franchise fee for his own MLS team once he's retired. A franchise expansion fee is payable to the league in order to be able to run a football club, or a franchise as it's termed in the MLS. And it can be seen as an investment in the league, with the rights to the distributions from the central pot being the investment income. The latest fee for an expansion is San Diego's at $325 million, a substantial amount of money. It's becoming increasingly more expensive to invest in the MLS. Those expansion fees have been on the rise for some time. David Beckham, as we mentioned earlier, who is now the owner of Inter Miami, was offered a similar structure when he joined the LA Galaxy at the tail end of his career. David Beckham was able to purchase Inter Miami's franchise for a discounted fee of $25 million. And that is in comparison to Nashville in 2020 at $150 million. So that's a substantial saving. If Messi is being offered a similar discount, he's already saving hundreds of millions of dollars in that acquisition. He could be looking to provide investment to other parties, or even sell a franchise on instantly and create a capital gain overnight. Even when we package all of these benefits up at its present value, it's difficult to assess, but it could be lower than that of the Saudi Arabian offer. But what it does do is provide value beyond Messi's playing career, and therefore is an extremely savvy business deal, both for Messi and for the league, because the association for the league with the most iconic player on the planet could transform the MLS. And we believe that this lesson of a commercial deal between player, club and league is something that other leagues could take a look at as a way of remunerating players that wouldn't be detrimental to the cash flows immediately, but would defer value into the future for the player. This could restrict the player's ability to spend their salary at this point. However, that might not be a bad thing. Investing into something that would go beyond the playing days of a football player, allowing them to have some form of security once they've hung up their boots, is potentially a fantastic idea for the rest of the ecosystem. Football has always been a short-term career in comparison to many others, and it drives some short-term thinking when it comes to both players and agents and clubs. There's a win at all costs mentality in some environments, not knowing when opportunities would come round again. And this sometimes leads to clubs overspending, falling foul of FFP regulations, and in some instances, clubs becoming insolvent. Other industries around the world have been able to encourage smart investment and increases in value for shareholders whilst incentivizing those that are key to those decisions and implementing that value change proposition. Tax authorities across various countries have also got involved to incentivize this type of behavior, which defers value into the future, increases the shareholder value, but also looks at the longer term rather than the short-term results. Why can football not do a similar thing? It would be very difficult for players to be asked to reduce their salary at any point in time. However, once a player got to a certain salary level, and we're already seeing salary caps being talked about across European football, and check out our video on that topic if you're interested to learn more about that. But why can't football incentivize players in different ways? And they can use the technology that's available to do that. We're already talking about things like NFTs or non-fungible tokens. So why can't players be incentivized by legitimizing that environment and creating moments on the pitch that players would be able to participate in when it comes to the profit sharing arrangements of the moments that they create that are potentially sold on an exchange, which is legitimate in the future. But a similar example could be that a player is awarded shares in a club in which it plays and is subsequently rewarded based on the increase in value once the player has potentially even left the club. This would require a whole change of mentality in the industry, and one that could be potentially quite difficult to negotiate. But we are seeing that with certain players in particular, these deals are possible. This is in the backdrop of a 4-team investment from PIF in Saudi Arabia in the Saudi Pro League. European clubs, along with MLS clubs, will see a battle for talent on a financial basis. And this could entice players of all ages and all abilities, from those that are looking to retire, all the way down to the youth setup, to take another look at where they're playing and the incentives that they're given. The impact of this will be twofold. It would increase the talent acquisition of Saudi Arabia whilst also detracting that of its competitors. And Saudi Arabia is very clear with its intentions in this: it wants the Saudi Pro League to be able to compete with European leagues such as the Premier League. It is also clear that the Saudi government will be using football to invest in and to divest its wealth. But how many players will end up in Saudi Arabia? Lionel Messi could have been one of them, but that is a topic for a future video. But with no FFP restrictions and what appears to be unlimited funds to attract players, perhaps Saudi Arabian football is the biggest threat that European football has ever faced. But despite the money that was offered to Lionel Messi and the relationship that he already had with the Saudi authorities, he declined and went to the MLS. So it's by no means a given that all the talent is going to end up in Saudi Arabia. What are your thoughts on this topic? Leave them in the comments below. If you liked the video, hit like and subscribe for more football finance related topics. This is Football Finance Professionals. My name's Neil Wood. Thanks for watching.